G'day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to get two easy water mounts, both of which I think are pretty cool. But yeah, basically two easy water mounts because I realized while I was in Forbidden Reach that I really want a water mount because it's really irritating reaching some of those rares. And yeah, the two in question are the Subdued Seahorse, which you can get from Poseidus, and the Fathom Dweller. Now, before I begin, you can get the Subdued Seahorse also off the auction house for between roughly 4,000 to 6,000 gold, depending on your server. But let's talk about how you can get it, because maybe you want to use it to get gold, or maybe you just don't want to spend gold, or maybe you want to go through the thrilling journey of obtaining the mount. So before you do anything to get the Subdued Seahorse, you're going to need to unlock Azshara, which is a region that was the opening section of the Cataclysm campaign. So Azshara can be activated by getting the War Chief's command. If you have already unlocked Azshara, all you simply have to do is head there. Once you have the War Chief's command, you will then begin the quest line. You need to go to the blockade, get on the ship. The ship will then crash. You will go through a short sequence. You may have to wait for the ship a little bit, so don't think the quest is bugging out. Just wait a couple seconds and you'll be on the ship and you'll see it come around the bend, and yeah, get on it, and basically it'll then activate a little cutscene and you'll be taken under the depths. Once the ship has crashed, you will complete the quest. I suggest finishing the quest for sea legs, as this will allow you to breathe underwater within Azshara and also give you increased movement speed whilst underwater. It's a very quick quest line, so I highly suggest you do it. This is the only quest you will need to do. You do not need to do any other quests when it comes to Azshara. However, obviously, if you want to, if you're that way inclined, feel free to go through the quest line. You can get a Azshara only water mount by completing some quests. What you're going to want to do is, once you are in the region, you're going to want to start heading over to the Shimmering Expanse. It will take you a short while to get there, but basically you can just swim there directly once you have finished the opening salvo of quests. So head directly to the Shimmering Expanse. Don't really worry about it too much. Once you are in the Shimmering Expanse, the mount can spawn in 4 set locations. You will actually battle a seahorse called Poseidus, and you will fight it. So the locations are the ruins of the Thesserol Temple, the Briligan or Billigan Ridge, the ruins of Azshara, right by the S in Poseidus, and in the middle of the little red scar coming out of the Nesphera. I've left all of the locations in the description below so that you can use them in TomTom. But the mob has a 4-hour spawn time, and it has a 99.999% drop rate, so you should get it unless you are somehow incredibly cursed. And that's it, basically. Just swim around here for a little bit if the mob has not spawned, and yeah, pretty simple stuff. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, you can avoid all of this conflict by simply going to the auction house and clicking the Reins of Poseidus, and depending on your server, it will probably be between 4,000 and 6,000 gold. Now, the reason why I've done Poseidus first is quite simple. Poseidus will help you with the next water mount, which is, I think, a pretty cool mount that you can get solo as well. So the next mount is the Fathom Dweller. Now, to access this, you're going to need to come to the Broken Shore, and you're going to need to come and find Drakthul. He's not actually by the map pin. He is a little bit along the coastline there, and he's this crazy orc that you find basically, you know, talking about the Whispers. And while he's talking about the Whispers, he's actually talking about the Void, and he's stating that the Void has taken over his mind. So what you can do is you can just speak to him a little bit until you have no more speaking options. Just continue to speak to him always. But basically what you then need to find is a little cave. Now, this cave is relatively easy to find, and it is in the Broken Shores. You will find it in this location. Currently, you can see the TomTom coordinates in the top right-hand corner. And it's right here where you see my mouse kind of hovering. I'll put a little map in there for you. So there you go. Excellent stuff. But basically, yes, you're going to head in this general direction, and you should find a little opening. So you should see here, there's the crashed ship. Now, if I look a little bit to my left and I fly down, you'll see this kind of little pathway and a little torch. Torch should signify that you found the right location. And then along the back, it's quite difficult to actually see along the ground, but there's a little dirt pile. Now, if you right-click this dirt pile, you basically will activate the quest line, or the faux quest line, to begin activating the orbs around Legion. And you need to activate these orbs in this following order. So first you're going to get this relic. Fantastic, excellent stuff. Then you're going to head back to Dracthul. It's super important that you speak to him until he runs out of conversation options. So you're going to speak to him. You can read his text. I highly suggest you do. It does make it more interesting. You're going to speak to him, read his text, speak to him, read his text, and continue doing this basically until he starts, speaking to you in demon tongues. And then basically, he just wants you to go sort it out. Now, what's interestingly enough is if you want to, if you look on his table, you'll actually see a whole bunch of little red dots. Now, these red dots actually signify where all the orbs are, and people have correlated this to the map of Legion and essentially taken a look from there, which is pretty cool. But you need to make sure that you do it in the following order. If you do not do it in the following order, you won't be able to right-click the orb and activate it. So make sure that you follow this order exactly so that you can get the mount. So the first orb is in this current location. Again, all of these will be in the pinned comments for anyone to obviously take a look. But if you climb below this tree, you'll see a little set of bushes just behind the foxes, and you'll be able to find the orb inside. This is the first orb that you must get, and it is the most important, as without this orb you cannot start the quest line. Remember, you have to do it in this order. Orb 2 is in Stormheim. You will see these two, I guess, cherry blossoms, or at least what look like cherry blossoms, and they'll be right across from these goats that are on the mountainside. You should see a mob inside that has a ridiculously high spawn rate. I think I literally killed this mob. Pick up the orb, turn around, and this mob was respawned again. So that was pretty crazy. Then the third orb is in Valshara. You will see again, here's the waypoint and the locations, but of course in the description. And it's actually behind this very big tree. So if you see this pretty huge tree, there's a wisp in the top left-hand corner. And in the bushes again, behind this tree, you'll find this little table. Move a little bit to the left of it and run through this little cave here. You'll find this arcane servitor. You can kill them, and then you can click the orb. Then we move on to orb number 4. This one is in the Broken Shore, and it's actually going to require you to basically move off the edge of the map. You'll start to get fatigue, and you're just going to head straight down. You're going to see a whole bunch of like rocks and pillars that are kind of strapped along each other, and then you're going to run inside the cave that's at the bottom of those kind of pillars, and you can activate this orb, and then you will probably die, because these steam shots do percentage-based damage, so you can actually die to them. Next is in Azuna, orb number 5, and it's in the crystal section, right near the portal for the 1 rare. In World Quest, you should see this purple crystal tree. You'll see a little hole in the bottom, surrounded by a whole bunch of crystals, and if you run in through here, you will essentially be able to find the orbs. Now, sometimes it was really hard to find these damn orbs on the ground. Like, it was a real bloody kind of irritation to actually find some of these, but hey, it is what it is. Orb 6 is in Stormheim, right across from Storm Shield, and you should see this little shark friend here, right by the giant remains of a statue of Odin. So you should see the shark here. He won't attack you, he's toothless, so don't attack him either, because sharks are our friends. But right underneath him, you'll see this tiny little gap, and if you swim through this gap, you'll move into a secondary cave, and you can, basically go through the cave and pick up the orb. Now, this is where I say the Subdued Seahorse and buying it off the auction house or picking it up first is going to help you out with this quest line, because there is actually a lot of underwater segments, and moving slowly through it and moving slowly through these underwater caves kind of sucks, and a lot of people aren't going to feel great about it. It can be a little bit claustrophobic. Remember, these steam vents will cause big damage to you, so please avoid them as best you can. The orb will be in the center, so you're going to need to do a little bit of parkour or just good timing. You can kind of see where these steam vents are moving by the little ridges on the ground. So once you've got that orb, it's next to Highmountain. So same thing, you can see the location, excellent, it's near Skyhorn. And you'll see this kind of little tent, camp, canvas, kind of rooftop cover thing here. So you can fly down and you'll see a giant cave behind you. It's not in there, so that's a bit unfortunate. And also, it's not near the edge of the ledge. It's a little bit sneaky. I like how they kind of hid all of these caves. Really, yeah, makes it a lot of fun if you don't track exactly what to do. But right under the shelter, you'll see this little bag hanging, and these bushes. You're going to move through there, and in the skull of the dinosaur, you will see the orb that you need to pick up. So next we're on to the second to last orb, which is orb 8. This is again in Azuna. You'll see the location here. You'll see where I am. And you may see nothing here, but if you just run directly at the rock, you'll just dip straight underneath, and you'll find yourself in a misty little cave. And in this cave, if you run around the last pillar, under the bush, there is a nice little orb for us to collect. And finally, the final orb is in Eye of Azshara itself, which you have to fly to. You cannot enter the dungeon. This is the actual Eye of Azshara. You can fly there directly from Dalaran. And basically, you need to go through this ship. Now, if you have claustrophobia or an issue with water, I highly suggest that you get your parents to come do this section for you, or just give up. Yeah, but no, seriously, it can be a little bit, I don't know, I suffer from claustrophobia and that, so it can be a little bit overwhelming. But yes, if you come through here, you should see this little bush to the left here, which is excellent. You didn't swim straight through there. Just keep going. Just keep going. To your right, no, yeah, you can see me struggling to find it because I'm stupid. So don't feel embarrassed if it took you a couple of tries. My mistakes are here for you to learn. So I head back there, right through the bush, and if you push forward a little bit, you'll see the nice little cave that we finally have there. And again, it took me a while to find it because, again, I am stupid, but there is indeed an orb. It is to the right-hand side, so as you enter the cave here, right by that little waterfall there, it's actually directly to the right-hand side of that. So that's the final orb. So once you've done all of these, and by the way, you should be able to right-click all of them. So if you can't right-click an orb, it's because you have not done them in the right order. So just double check that you're doing all of them in the right order. But once you have right-clicked this 9th orb, all you have to do is head back to Drakthul. You can see me miss the orb twice here, by the way. Excellent stuff. But all you have to do once you've clicked the right orb is head back to Drakthul and click the orb on his table. There we go. See, look, I managed to find it. So once you click the orb upon his table, that will then activate a world quest. And this world quest can either drop you the mount or the pet, and it will rotate weekly. So if you don't get the mount this week, if you're not lucky enough, which I am, fortunately, you will get the pet. And next week you just need to come back, and you'll be able to finish it and get your hands on the mount or pet, vice versa. Once you're there, you simply have to kill the rare. It's pretty easy. If you're at max level, it will take you a single second, and the Fathom Dweller will be automatically added into your mount collection. And that's that. I know it was a long process, but hopefully this has got you 2 cool water mounts, and hopefully helps you adventure a little bit easier in Azeroth. But that's it from me. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye.